Welcome to the next session in the fabulous International Women in Business Expo Summit event that we're running at the moment. We're running a series of live presentations, and I'm delighted to be introducing our next speaker. So Lynnaire Johnston is absolutely passionate about people using LinkedIn to achieve their their professional goals, not their financial goals, them as well, but their professional goals. If you haven't yet, check out her other session that she did for us yesterday, which gave me a big long list of things to do to change my behaviors on LinkedIn in next year. And today she's going to help us create a compelling profile on LinkedIn so that we can be even more visible and more successful in 2025. Lynnaire, over to you.
Thank you so very much, Helen, and it's lovely to be back for day 2 of the International Women in Business Expo. It's been a great event and I've been really enjoying it. So I'm wanting to talk to you today about profiles because as someone who's been on LinkedIn for over a decade and has really focused on helping people to leverage its power, I'm really very, very delighted to be able to talk about profiles. And the reason I want to talk about profiles today is because they are so important. Everything we do on LinkedIn hinges on our profiles and how well we do them. Now, in my book, Linkability: 4 Powerful Strategies to Maximize Your LinkedIn Success, I talk about the different ways that you can use your profile once you have got it in place. But it is a very, very different beast nowadays in the sense that it has changed so much in the past few years. And profiles have been a big beneficiary of this. So when I'm working with my clients on profile makeovers, I really want to make sure that they stand out from their competition and other people who might be going after the same job or the same client as they are. So hence, your profile needs to be compelling. Now, there have been a number of changes on LinkedIn, a number being the operative word, more than 240 changes to LinkedIn in 2024, and that's going to inform how we use the platform next year. But underlying all of that comes our profile, and you need to have that looking as good as you possibly can, showcasing your skills and expertise and demonstrating social proof as much as possible. So the 7 tips that I want to share with you today start with one of those new features. This is just starting to being rolled out right now, and it is a scrolling profile banner, also known as a cover image. Now, at the moment, we only have the opportunity to add one of these to our profiles, and that is changing, and we'll be able to add up to 5. Now, only a small number of people at present have this new feature, but it will be available to all of us very, very soon. We can have these scrolling continuously, and that will be automatic. So what you want to do with your profile banner is to simplify it. If you're like me and you've got a whole bunch of different information on your profile banner currently, then this is a really good opportunity to separate all those elements out and have one on each banner. So you don't have to have 5. You can have anywhere between 1 and 5 banners, but making sure that you've got yours simple and easy to understand in just 3 seconds is going to be critical. Your banner is the first thing that people see when they go to your profile. It needs to stand out. It needs to stop the scroll, and it needs to have an instant understanding of what you do. When people look at it, they need to immediately have an idea of how you can help them and in what particular ways. So a scrolling profile banner is the newest feature for LinkedIn profiles, and I think it's a real game changer, and it's something for us all to look forward to. And if you are planning to use this, I suggest getting on top of it really quickly, making sure you've got those banners ready to roll when you get access to the feature. And how will you know? In the top right-hand corner of your banner, it will say enhance image or enhance profile, depending on where you are. And that will tell you that you have got access to this new feature. The second thing that is most important on your profile is your headline. And one of the reasons for that is that it follows you around. So if you are posting content, talking to people in a direct message, or doing anything else on LinkedIn, your profile will go with you. Your profile headline will go with you. We have 220 characters for this. So it shouldn't be just a job title. It should be who you are, what you do, how you help people, and the results that they can expect. You can have individual phrases that are broken up by emojis, as you can see here in mine, or you can have one big long sentence if you want to do it that way as well. There's plenty of opportunity for you to be able to add something that is personal. At the end of mine, I mentioned that I'm a gardening fan. You have no idea the number of people who connect to me and say, hey, I'm a gardener too. And automatically, then your conversation is off to a great start. So mentioning something that you have that is personal to you, that is outside work, is that will likely get people to take notice of you and make you stand out, is a good addition to your headline. So make sure that you change it with anything that is new, that is updated, so that it is always looking the best it can possibly be. Now, something that a lot of people forget to do is to completely fill out their contact info section. People can access this from the profile intro area of your profile. And so you want to make sure that everything that you offer, that you want people to be able to access, is included in this section. So at the top of it, you can see that it shows your LinkedIn URL. So if you've not claimed your unique URL and it still has random letters and numbers in it, then you need to make sure that you change that to something that is instantly recognizable as you. Now, you can add up to 3 websites in this area as well. So these can be individual websites, as I've got here, or individual pages, which I've also got. So the first 2 are my Linkability homepage, and the second one is a sub-page of that. And then you can see that I've got a 3rd website listed, which is completely different. So having those 3 gives people a good range of options to go and have a look at information about you. Now, you might like to have your phone number in here. Now, that's not one of the things that I would necessarily always recommend, and it depends on your own circumstances. You might be quite happy to have people have access to your phone number, and you might not. But if you do, putting it in there is a really good idea because people can connect with you then on WhatsApp as well. Now, I've cheated in the address section here by not having a street address where people come to visit and instead using that section to add a little marketing message. I tell people in that a bit about what I do, the services I offer, so that people can have a look at that and decide whether they want to look at my profile a little more. Now, one of the things I really like about LinkedIn is that you can be a little odd with it. Now, what I mean by that is you can think laterally about some of these things. So it says address, but does it mean that you absolutely have to have your address in there? No, it doesn't. And the same applies in other areas of your profile as well. You can add text that appeals to you and that you want your profile visitors to see in this particular one. I think the most important part of your contact info section has got to be your email address. You want people to be able to see that right up front. Also add it to the bottom of your about section and to your current role if both of those are visible and are important to you, because I think that it will help people stop pestering you for your email address if you add it into your contact info section. The next one is to showcase your expertise in the featured section. I love the featured section because it gives lovely, great big visual thumbnails that you can really see well when people visit your profile. I recommend having an intro video to you, which tells people a little bit about you. Even if it's just 30 seconds long, then you can show people what it is that you do. They can see you, they can look at your face, and they can hear your tone of voice. So I think having a profile intro video is an important part of your featured section. And if you do that, put it first. There are two ways to get this onto your profile. The first is to add it to a post, which you then pin to your featured, or you can host the video on Vimeo or YouTube and then just copy the link across and have it display there. But either way, having an intro video to you on your featured section is a good idea. If you've got a premium account on LinkedIn, you can add a wealth of other content from your profile. You can add, for example, individual recommendations that perhaps have fallen below the fold and aren't immediately visible when people see your profile, and you can add them into here. I love the fact about these featured sections that you can move the content around, change the order, and add anything that includes a link, an image, a video, or a piece from your profile. It really does give you a huge number of options to choose to be able to showcase your expertise and your knowledge. So I recommend using thumbnails that look really good, have that visual interest, and keeping it up to date. Move things around, change the order. And if you're like me and you run events on a regular basis, putting the event in here is an easy way for people to find it on your profile. The next section is the skills area. Now, this is one of the most important parts of your profile and one of the least understood. We can now add 100 skills to many different sections of our profile. It used to be we could only have them in the skills section, but now we can add them to our about section, as you can see in this image, and you can add it to many others as well. So that includes your roles, it includes education, volunteering, projects, you name it, you can add skills to all those different sections. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, first of all, it looks good. It's the only visual aspect of the About section apart from the text itself. So adding them to the About section is a good place to start because your About section sits quite high up in your profile. Now, you also want to add it to other areas too, as I've mentioned, because people will be able to click on it and see what skills are relevant to that particular area. But there's another reason too that is even more important than people visiting your profile, and that is being found in search. If you choose skills from the drop-down menu that appears when you are on your skills section, then you will be choosing skills that are in LinkedIn's database. If you are adding skills that are not in LinkedIn's database, then you will not be found for those in searches. Now, search is a very important part of being found and visible on LinkedIn. So by adding in skills that people are often searching for, then your profile is going to be seen more often. So skills is one of those areas that most of us don't pay attention to, but you need to be getting endorsements for your top skills, and you need to change the order of your skills so the most important ones display first. That is true across the board with all of your skills that you add to other sections of your profile. Your most important ones need to go first. On the About section, 5 will display, but on the other sections of your profile, only the first 2 will display. So make sure that those are the right ones. Many people are verifying their profile nowadays, and because there has been a huge increase in the number of fake profiles on LinkedIn, this is worth considering. Now, I said considering, not recommending, because it is important that it is an individual decision. We haven't yet reached the tipping point whereby if you don't have a verified profile badge, you'll be considered a fake, but I've no doubt that that will be coming. Now, the problem with the verified badge is twofold. First of all, that you need to give away to a third-party app that is associated with LinkedIn your passport details. Now, there are some people who've had major cybersecurity issues who simply are not prepared to do that, and I really understand where they're coming from on that one. Our passport details are probably our most important method of personal identification that we have, and so sharing those details with a third party is risky. But the other problem with this is if you are a woman, and we're here at the Women's Business Expo, if you are a woman, it could possibly be considered discriminatory. Why? Because if your married name, if you are married, is not the same on your passport as it is on your LinkedIn profile, then you will not be able to verify your profile. Now, I don't think that LinkedIn thought that one through at all, and I think it's very disappointing that this has become a problem for many people whose professional name is different from their married name. However, having a verified badge, if you overlook all of those challenges, having a verified badge is a good thing to do. It again is going to follow you around LinkedIn. It doesn't yet, but it's coming very soon, and it will be sitting there next to your name when you message people and when you are posting. So it's a very good idea to think this one through, but again, consider it. I am not necessarily recommending it, but it's something for you to have a think about whether you want to do that. Now, the next one is to have a custom link on your profile intro. Now, this is a link that follows you around LinkedIn, like your headline and like your name, and it will be visible wherever you go. That's the really positive side of it. There are some downsides. There's always a downside when you get something really good on LinkedIn. One of the downsides is you need a premium account to be able to do this. And the second is that you have to choose from the options LinkedIn gives you. There are 6 or 7 of these. View my blog is one of them. Visit my website, view my portfolio, request services. There are a range of these, but you have to choose from the ones that LinkedIn provides for you rather than choosing your own text. However, if you have a premium account, then this is something you absolutely should be doing because, as I say, it follows you around LinkedIn, and having an external link like this is a really good way to move people from your profile and to an external site like your website. So those are my 7 main tips, but I just thought I'd pop in an extra one for you today. And that is to add to your recommendations. You can never have too many recommendations on LinkedIn. They are excellent social proof, and the more high quality ones you have, the better. And as I've already mentioned, you can add individual ones to your featured section. Now, I have quite a number that are maybe a couple of years old and are really good ones that I want people to see. And of course, they can't see those because they're further down than the 2 that people will see when they visit my profile. And so those are the ones that I've added to my featured section. Now, it's a really good idea to get recommendations by giving them. Now, this is not a concept that will be new. Reciprocity works really well all over LinkedIn, and particularly well in recommendations. And so if you give recommendations to people who are in a position to also recommend you, that is a really good place to start. But again, think laterally. These don't have to be clients. These don't have to be people that have employed you. These are people who have been your colleagues, people who have worked with you in different capacities, who know you professionally, potentially from your networking events even. Anybody who knows something about you as a business professional is well qualified to write you a recommendation on LinkedIn. Of course, they have to be on LinkedIn themselves to be able to do that, but the idea of giving recommendations too is a good one, because as you can see from this image here, your photo, your name, and your headline are going to be on somebody else's profile. And if they have many visitors to their profile, then you will be there front and center. So giving in this situation is a really good idea. So those are the 7 things plus an extra I wanted to share with you about creating a compelling profile for 2025. Now, I recommend you not leave it until next year to start on some of these things, some of these changes that you might want to make on your own profile. And the reason for that is that's what everybody else is going to do. But if you want to make the most of the changes that you make, you need to be getting onto them now. And that's so that the algorithm has time to absorb them and to make sure that you are front of mind, top of center when you are being found in searches. And that is the kind of visibility that all of us want here on LinkedIn, is to be really visible and to be able to build our networks and to extend our personal brands. So I hope that has been of some help to people today, and I am very happy to either take questions or to be sent questions in direct messages afterwards. Oh, and if you're not connected to me on LinkedIn, please reach out. I'd love to be connected to you.
Thank you so much, Lynnaire. I've now got even more homework to do. Oh my goodness. Fantastic. My goodness. I love the bonus idea. Lisa said about she doesn't like asking people to recommend her if they haven't used the service, but you are the service, Lisa. So if people haven't actually used you, they can still recommend you as by the person and your style and the way you operate in the world. And I think that's something for
Think
you to
laterally. Think
template.
laterally
Yeah,
about that.
I've had people asking me to recommend them. Like we've just become connected or something when I don't really know them, and they say, "Oh, I'll recommend you," and I think, "But you
No,
don't
no, no.
know me."
I'm
But
talking about people who actually know you. So
yeah, no,
I'm gonna wrap up our chat, but I also just want to say, Lynnaire, thank you for the 7+1, and just such concrete, classic ideas that work because you've used them and proved them, and so we know that if we just follow your gentle guidance, we can make a difference with our profiles and our businesses. So thank you so much for sharing so generously.